Radio in motion program loading in 3, 2, 1. Program activated.
Attention everyone, the unpleasant noise you are about to hear coming from your radio is not a mistake.
Okay, first things first, what is your name?
This is Big Sonny playing the best of the 90s and beyond.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah. Radio in motion.
Please do not turn off your radio, but turn up the volume on your receiver as high as it can go.
All right, here we go.
Radio in motion.
All right, thanks for joining me tonight. We're back, and tonight is a bit of a different theme. It's sort of in honor of the Artemis II going back to the moon. So tonight is Rock the Moon. We're kicking it off there with Def Leppard Rocket, a bit on the nose, Van Halen Dreams, and I think you can see where these themes are headed. But yeah, I think there was certainly some great 80s rock that lends itself well to any sort of inspirational sound. But first up, we're going to have another episode of The Ugly Truth, but hopefully it's a bit positive. However, the ugly truth is a lot of people I'm talking to, they don't even know that there's a NASA mission to go back to the moon. And of course, this round, the Artemis II, it's just a test trip. But the fact is they're just going around the moon. They're obviously not landing on the moon, but that's still an amazing feat. And the first time we've been back in over 50 years. So either way, I think that's pretty exciting. So I guess I want to talk a bit about tonight is for those, like myself, I'm a huge sci-fi nerd, and, you can't be a sci-fi nerd if you aren't also interested in the real world of science and some of the, the fantastic accomplishments that essentially make the world as we know it now. And I think a lot of people take things for granted. And yes, I'm also happy to talk about all the things that also maybe, I struggle with in a bit of turmoil, in that you think, well, this costs billions. Is it worth it? And why? And maybe that's why we have been back in over 50 years. It's not worth it. What was the point? Was it all just a space race? Was it just to beat the Russians and to prove, communism doesn't work? Was it all, just government and military, and that spending in the 60s? It was a time and place where it made sense. And then we didn't go back because we've been looking inward, and we've been looking into the virtual space and the AI space, and we spend our money and time there. So those are all the kind of things that I think about. And so I assume somewhere out there people are thinking similar things. But in the end, I'm hoping to at least, as always, you do your own research. You use your own critical thinking. Isn't that amazing? You can use your own critical thinking. You make the choice for yourself. But I certainly like to, open the discussion and make you think. And hopefully at the end, maybe we both learn something, as I hope any conversation is about. But yeah, so why Artemis II even matters for those that think it's a waste. So, again, this is the first crewed mission back to the moon. And not that long ago, and I was just watching, they just made their trip around the moon. That takes about 40 minutes, over 250,000 miles away from Earth. And again, it's the little things that you have to consider, whether you think it's a waste or not. There are humans in a tiny capsule, and this is all because of human ingenuity and pioneering spirit and intelligence, culminating from all different countries putting their brains trust together so that humans can travel out into the universe. And such a little thing, but at the same time such a huge thing, when they go around the moon, no matter what our vast technology is, there are still limitations in the year 2026. And those limitations are, without direct line of sight, without the amazing accomplishments of such a simple thing called a radio signal. Everyone thinks there's just all these magical ways to do it. unless there were satellites out there bouncing around and all this intricate network, which there is not, without line of sight, they are out of communication for over 40 minutes. And that in itself has not happened in over 50 years. But think about that. No matter where a human is on the planet, you can contact. There's always a way to contact them if they want to be contacted. When they're going around the moon, there is no way to keep in contact with them. So those astronauts aboard have no way of speaking to their home planet, which provides everything they need to survive, not to mention loved ones and family and the whole Earth. They are truly alone. That alone, I think, if you can't take that as mind-boggling, and that they are brave, no matter how you think technology is so advanced that they're just passengers, that they just sit there, much like people used to think about the astronauts in the Apollo program. Even if a multitude of the operation is being done from Earth and Kennedy Space Center, you cannot discount the human in the capsule. There are so many things they have to do. You have no idea. And even if they are just moments where they're just a passenger, they are a hell of a brave passenger. So look, that's just me kicking it off so you understand, even if you're not that into it. It's an astounding human achievement. But yes, the Artemis II, this is really to test the systems to pave the way for future actual landing missions. Artemis III and beyond, just like Apollo. Apollo 11 landing on the moon the first time. So, it took a few times. But yeah, I think it's very symbolic that we're stepping back into deep space. Right out of the gate. Why spend money on this? We have problems on Earth. Absolutely. There always have been. There probably always will be. And homelessness, war, poverty, and I've done many podcasts about this in recent times, and currently we are at war, and I've voiced my opinion that disgusts me. I do not like the military-industrial complex. I do not like that war is profit. I do not like fighting for another country. I do not like fighting for the agenda of Israel, the government, not the people, or for any other government. And at this point, it happens to be Israel sucking the U.S. into war. And no, I think we should spend time thinking about that. And I can't stand that we're spending trillions on military. That has nothing to do with protecting people at home. That's a lie. So again, I've gotten into that before. I won't get into it too deep now, but I hear you when you think about space travel as a luxury. It's just for rich people doing their fantasy trips. But it's not. I'll be honest, if you want to get down to the brass tacks, military spending is trillions per year, which is already disgusting. I agree with you. The space budget is a tiny fraction of that. The point is if you're very much anti-government spending and wasting money, so am I. Wasting taxpayers' money, so am I. But the space budget is a tiny fraction of that. They're already spending it. I can't control that. Like I say, learn to deal with the things that you can control, which is barely your own life. Perhaps getting up in the morning and turning left or right, taking a shower, which coffee to buy. There are minimal things you can control. Can't control the budget. So if they're going to spend it anyway, I think it's about time they start to spend it again on pioneering and the human spirit. I'm not choosing space or humanity. I'm not saying go to the moon and the hell with the homeless. I'm saying we do have to use our brains and figure out a way to live better here and to want to help each other more and to sacrifice a bit more. Everybody. That includes the billionaires and the trillionaires and just you and me. That never ends. We got to get our head around that. But it does not mean we stop. And we have stopped for over 50 years. I think we have just looked inward too much. Sometimes it's good. We've explored ourselves ad nauseum. We've analyzed, we've deconstructed to the point where I think we're going a little bit nuts. You know what I'm saying? We're sitting at home and we're bored. And that home is the planet. We love Earth. It is Mother Earth. Nothing against Earth. we need to ensure we save Earth too. Nothing against that. Everyone goes, oh, you want to go to space, but you don't want to save Earth. I think both can be true at the same time. But you should not stop exploration. We are meant to push the boundaries. And I will make the links that if we didn't push the boundaries before, if those brave men didn't get on sailing ships using only the wind and the stars to sail by to go what they thought might have been dropping off the edge of the earth, if they didn't do that, I'm sorry to say, and for all those that want to live in the dirt and in a cave, go for it. Go right now. Leave right now. Leave your apartment, leave your heat, your air conditioning, your solar, your coffee maker, your espresso machine, your refrigerator, your TV, your iPad, your iPhone, your electricity, everything. Indoor plumbing, the most simplest things, the carpet, your bed, your fluffy pillow, everything. Leave it all and go live in the dirt in a cave and enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. It probably does sound wonderful. But the fact is, the modern world we live in is nowhere without the pioneering spirit. And part of that is the simple thing of pushing forward. And it used to be, like I say, sailing in tall ships and traveling and going, climbing a mountain, wagon training, spreading across treacherous territories and surviving, and the physical nature of fighting nature and trying to protect your home and your family. Every human in history, we owe it to them because we wouldn't be here without them. Okay? You wouldn't have your cushy life that you're complaining about. You know, all the university kids who love to just protest everything. And that's fine. That's your job. Protest. I agree. But they protest while they're wearing their, expensive shoes and all their gear and all their, like I say, their phone and all the stuff they take for granted. And they get in their car and they're complaining the whole time that mom and dad bought them every luxury they have. They should stop first and look at their own life and how lucky they are. So yes, I am going to get deep with this when I say you can still think of both, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't explore. And yeah, I'm sorry to say it does cost money. But again, like I said, with taxes, I'd rather spend my taxes on this than war, 100%. So if they're going to choose to do this, do it, because those are the next steps. Those are the next logical steps for humanity. There's a lot of those that are like, well, pushing to space isn't our focus. It should be Earth. And there are others that say, again, what if one day, and not by our own hand, because again, I'm not saying we don't have an impact on the planet. We do, but sometimes you do realize, does anyone, if you want to do a deep dive, then do it. Understand that the planet we live on, like many planets that are out there, Mars and Mercury, Venus, these planets at one time may have also been a viable planet. Probably not technically based on where they are from the sun, but we are in that perfect sweet spot in our solar system. Billions of stars and solar systems. Again, if we are the only one, that is so precious. But if there is another, there's probably not a lot, because it has to be that absolute perfect mix to create a sustainable planet with atmosphere and plants and life and oxygen and all the things that make Earth Earth. So what am I ranting about here? Even one day Earth, who knows what could happen? You have no idea. It may take millions of years. The point is any sort of disaster could happen. The sun, volcanoes, some horrible natural occurrence on Earth could happen. And the point is if we do just sit around and go, no more pioneering, no more exploring. We've explored Earth and that's it. We're going to stay here. And we'll just be happy with this, even though we're well aware. And we are now capable of going beyond, but we just stop. Is that logical? Does that make sense to you? We would push and then stop. We would go 10% there and then stop, not 90% of the way. So all I'm saying is it is in it's the human instinct to explore, and that's what we do. And if you don't have that instinct, that's fine. That's your thing. But there are those that do, and I say more power to them. Again, humans crossed oceans, From fire to tools to flight to space. This is an amazing leap. And then we seem to have just stopped a bit. AI may be the next frontier. Sure, we're definitely delving into that quickly, very quickly. But space is still the oldest dream. It really is. Exploration is our identity. It's not an indulgence. It's not. It's not a rich man's thing. It's every human thing. So why Artemis matters beyond the moon. And again, they do plan to go back, and I think in some ways, yes, originally it was a space race, for sure. It was about trying to say, we can do this, and that pioneering spirit took over. And if you want to say it was very much focused on, U.S. versus Russia at the time, it probably was. But again, sometimes, necessity is the mother of invention. It took that to push, and so be it. And so maybe that's why we didn't go back there. They felt that part was done. And yes, you have to take the good with the bad. If we also say, well, the only reason we're going back is because they have found a way to monetize. They have found a way for it to benefit someone, the billionaires. And you go, Elon Musk and his SpaceX fantasy. Now, this is NASA. And I think they've been struggling for a bit. And I think it's wonderful to have SpaceX, which is private. I think it's wonderful to have that balance. SpaceX helped rescue some astronauts now. You needed someone with that pioneering spirit who wasn't just reliant on government money, which frankly, government money can be a pain in the ass. But when it works, I think in some ways only NASA can deliver this kind of thing. Not to be mean. Even Elon Musk is not there yet. He's not at Mars like he wants to be. NASA, as far as their experience, because they have been to the moon, they have built these rockets. I think it's good to have the collaboration is my point. And I do hope they collaborate always with as much technology sharing as they are comfortable with. That's also how we'll get further. But why it matters even beyond the moon. This is why I go back. Apollo led to advances in computing. You have no idea. Material science, telecommunications. We wouldn't be where we are now if it weren't even just for the Apollo missions. The modern space programs, they drive robotics and AI systems. Medical tech is a huge one. Remote monitoring, imaging. And hey, for all the ones who are climate obsessed, which is wonderful, climate observation tools, all part of space exploration. You can't look, can't observe, you can't take these readings looking up. You have to look down. And look, another one, sometimes another huge catalyst for that, I won't lie, has been war in the past. And I'm still against war, and it's sad that it can happen. But I'd rather it was pioneering space. But yes, in the past, the necessity of having to save people, especially in medical, during even World War II, leaps and bounds afterwards in the medical community with what they learned, unfortunately, because of needing to operate on someone with horrific things happening to the body and triaging and simple, silly things like super glue, and you can look this up, and still used in different variations in hospitals, not the kind you buy at the store, but very similar, needing to patch up a wound quickly, stop it from bleeding, hold it together, quicker than you can start stitches in a giant bloody mess. Super glue. So I'm just saying, simple things like that come from those inventions, and travel to space is no different. So yes, you say, what about Earth? War victims and homelessness and food insecurity. Yes, I hope these two combine, and we can always learn one from the other, and not forget that we need to support each other and connect more. And yes, stop the forever wars, 100%. You can do both. They're not, mutually exclusive fights. Do both. We don't stop helping people on Earth because we look to the sky. We do both. We just lose something fundamental. I'm sorry. It's in our nature to explore. Also, this is one of the coolest shared moments I've had in my lifetime. Baby boomers got to see a man walking on the moon and sort of other triumphant moments. We've had, at least, Gen X and younger, crappy things like, the September 11 attacks and COVID. I'm sorry. These are, planet-wide shared moments that everyone was watching and experiencing. And they're lame. They're very negative. And those live with you. No shared global wins, really. I think this is a shared global win, and it's awesome. I'd rather be united by a triumph than tragedy. Just the moon itself, the emotional pull of the moon. It's not just another destination. It's visible to everyone every night. Again, it's the simple things. Isn't that fascinating? It doesn't matter where you are on Earth. It's symbolic, mythological. It's just very human. I think most people, including myself, we grew up with the space shuttle, and I thought the space shuttle was awesome, and it was. The space shuttle was the workhorse that built the space station. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Plenty of other, including Russia and other programs, but the space shuttle was up and down all the time. And yes, we saw plenty of Earth orbit and just fantastic. Grew up watching that. Wonderful. But again, traveling to the moon, and like I said before, going around the dark side and being out of communication with Earth because of the nature of that, that's a whole different, it feels closer to exploration, which I've never seen because I was born after the 60s. It's fascinating. It's getting closer to the next step, whether it's Mars or beyond or whatever. The uncomfortable truth. Sure, there are strategic interests, yes. Resource ambitions, I'm sure. I'm sure there were before, but they couldn't figure out how. Maybe they figured out other ways. I don't know. Minerals, again, or just some scientific achievement. But, space has always had political undertones. But like I say, the hell with it. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You take the good with the bad. I'll take the leap in exploration. Like I say, just like Apollo during the Cold War, you could say it was just a fight against the Russians. I say that was part of it. I say also still an amazing achievement shared by the whole planet, watching all at the same time. And even on social media, like I say, I've been talking to people and they're like, oh, are we going back? Oh, I didn't know. And why? That is so sad. That's so sad. I think essentially, Apollo was a global event, and Artemis just seems like background noise. How sad. Is it because it's not popping up on the algorithm? Is it competing against other content? Probably. You got to watch the cat spinning on the floor, or, the monkey doing something funny. It's sad. Like I say, I think especially, I've talked about this before. Yeah, I use a phone and I'm sucked into that world too. But I do think it's about balance, to look beyond ourselves. Everyone is so stuck in the phone and social media and in that cocoon and in that silo. You think you're with others because you're all on there chatting and you're all, clicking something and you're just, doom scrolling. You're part of something, but you're all part of the same thing, which is not real life. If you want to live in the Matrix, well, then that's where you're living right now. And again, I think we have spent decades analyzing and deconstructing ourselves and psychoanalyzing ourselves to the point where, yeah, I get it. We're all screwed up, 100%. We're all screwed up and doing the best we can to get through the day and find some joy and fun. and help provide for our family and loved ones and friends, and bring them on for the joyride that is this crazy life. That's it. That's what we've discovered after all the psychoanalyzing our totally messed up psyches. We're all really nuts, but that's okay. We're also awesome, and we can go to the moon. So yeah, I say stop looking inward and just trying to be all about self. And I didn't get what I needed. You're not giving me what I need. I need more. I want more. I want to buy more. My job isn't giving me enough. I'll find another job, the one that gives me enough. My family's not giving me enough. I. That's all I hear lately. It's all about, everyone tells me about their experience, which is fine. Of course, you need to think about yourself. You need to self-reflect and heal and make sure you're taking care of yourself. Body, mind, and soul. Yes. But not so much. Why don't you step outside yourself for a minute? Think of someone else. And then collectively think even further. Oh, my neighborhood, my city, the country, the planet. Oh, wow. This technology that collectively has been something building from humans around the planet, oh my goodness, has taken us into space again. Oh, but we've been there. Yeah, but the next step is further. Next time it'll be humans on Mars, or it'll be a ship. Maybe it takes 10 years, and 10 years later you see it on the news. We're at the edge of the solar system. We're pushing further, and we have colonies in your lifetime. Is that not inspiring in some way? It doesn't inspire you to get up and I don't know, do something different. Do something outside of that little box, which is the phone. So like I say, it's not always about looking inward, looking into virtual space and AI and inner space, and that's fine. We will navigate those waters too. That's all coming. But I think it's great that we've also returned to what really is the next vast ocean, besides our oceans, outer space. And for anyone that, again, thinks it's a waste of money, I think we should find a way to spend money on the things to help better human lives on Earth. But as I said, this pioneering spirit historically has a knock-on effect and helps with all kinds of advances, scientific advances, or just learning about ourselves. And I think they are in tandem, work hand in hand. So you must push forward with that pioneering spirit so that we can learn more about ourselves and how to better our lives. And that's just a fact. So yeah, I think that is fantastic. It's the first crewed lunar mission since 1972. I think that is amazing. The total mission length, just some stats, 10 days, 4 days to reach the moon. They're already on their way back, fly around the moon. They did that. Total distance, 685,000 miles round trip. Again, that's just fascinating. And next time, they're going to land. So for any of the flat earthers or the people who think we didn't go the first time, I don't know what to tell you. We're definitely going this time. But yeah, I think that is fantastic. And the human spirit is alive and well, and this proves it. So yeah, anyway, thanks for joining me on that indulgence, and I hope it made you open up your mind a bit and think that it's not just science fiction, it's real. All the movies we've seen, all the movies I grew up with, again, I haven't, when I was watching NASA Live, it's so fantastic. I'm watching that, getting closer to the moon and orbiting around live. It's not a movie. It's not special effects. It's real humans doing it. That's always got to be a little bit more magical, yeah? A little bit better. A little bit more fascinating, because somewhere deep inside, whether it's your life now or another lifetime or an alternate universe or a relative or your next life, a piece of that could be you. And a piece of that is still you, because we're all human. And like I say, we're all connected more than you know. And this is a wonderful shared experience to connect us. All right, that's my rant on Artemis II and the moon. So we'll get back to tonight's Radio Emotions Rock the Moon with some great songs with moon and rock themes. All coming up next after a word from our awesome out-of-this-world sponsors.